Welcome to all lovers of English literature. I am Prem Elias, former head of the Department of English, Fatima, National College, Kollam, affiliated to the University of Kerala. Here on our channel, I intend to explain some famous English poems. Some of you must have already learned or at least read these poems, but my humble effort is to take you back to your college days or school days. Kindly subscribe to our channel for more videos. Today the poet I am introducing is Robert Browning, one of the eminent Victorians. Robert Browning was a dramatic poet in the tradition of John Donne. As a dramatic poet, his chief interest lay in the drama of human mind, the drama of human mind. Robert Browning is the master of dramatic monologue. In his dramatic monologues, Browning presents a wonderful gallery of soul pictures. In a dramatic monologue, a dramatic situation is presented. There is a speaker and one or more silent listeners. In the drama, a story is narrated through dialogue. But here, a situation or a story is narrated through monologue. One person speaks, hence a monologue. Others are silent listeners. The poem which I am explaining today is Porphyria's Lover. It is Browning's first dramatic monologue included in the dramatic lyrics published in 1842. The speaker of this dramatic monologue is Porphyria's Lover. The title of the poem is also Porphyria's Lover, and it is Porphyria's lover who speaks. And we'll discuss his character at the end of the poem. It tells a story of a murder. So there is suspense. The motive behind the murder. Why the murder? Well, I'll read the poem. The rain set early into night. The sullen wind was soon awake. It tore the elm-tops down for spite, and did its worst to vex the lake. I listened with heart fit to break, when glided in Porphyria. The rain set early into night. The sullen wind was soon awake. Now the wind was sleeping, the ill-tempered wind was sleeping, and the wind was awakened by the raindrops. And the wind now becomes furious. It tore the elm-tops down for spite. Elm is a tree. So the wind blew violently, and the top of the trees were torn by the wind, and it was to vex the lake, disturb the lake. The wind also disturbed the lake. Waves rose up. Now look here. The atmosphere is a village. The atmosphere is a place near the lake. It's not in a town. It's a rural area, a lake, elm trees, and now rain, and there is a storm. I listen with a heart fit to break. Porphyria's lover waiting there for Porphyria. But he says, my heart was fit to break. That means there was agitation in his mind also. The tempest outside is symbolic of the tempest that is raging in Porphyria's lover's mind also. Now at this time, Porphyria glided in. Look at the word glided. She silently, softly, she came into the room. That word, lightly, see, actually it brings out the beauty or the manner of her gait. She glided in. And what did she do? Straight she shut the cold out and then stopped. Immediately she shut the windows and the doors and kept the cold outside. This man was sitting with doors open, with windows open. Now he closed the shutters of the windows. She came and kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up. She lit the fireplace, the hearth. The room became warm. It became cheerful. So Porphyria brought warmth and cheer to this cottage. She kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up and all the cottage warm. The cottage now became warm. Which done? She rose and from her form withdrew the dripping cloak and shawl. Browning describes the moment. See, she, after lighting up the grate, she gets up and she removed her dripping cloak, the loose outer coat or loose overcoat which was wet. She laid her soiled gloves by, untied her hat and let the damp hair fall. Now her movements in the cottage, in that room which has been made warm. These movements are described. She removed her soiled gloves and then she untied her hat and let her damp hair, that yellow blonde hair, fall. And at last she sat by my side and called me. She called me. When no voice replied, he did not reply. Although she called him, he did not reply. We do not know the speaker's name. Now when I did not reply, she put my arm about her waist and made her smooth white shoulder bare. Now she put my arm around her waist. She is taking the initiative. She expected him to take the initiative. He did not take the initiative. Therefore, he took his arm and put it around her waist. And she made her shoulder bare, white shoulder. See, her beauty is described in certain words like she glided in. See, again, that white shoulders, a yellow hair, and all her yellow hair displaced. Now it was displaced from the shoulder. Then the shoulder becomes naked. And stooping made my cheek lie there. Now she stooped, she bent low, and she put my cheek on her shoulders, made my cheek lie there on the bare shoulder, on the white naked shoulder, and spread over all her yellow hair. Her yellow hair, murmuring how she loved me. She whispered, she murmured how much she loved me. She too weak for all her heart's endeavor to set its struggling passion free from pride and vainer ties dissever, and gave herself to me forever. She gave herself to me forever. Complete surrender. Now, her sincere efforts to openly express her love, she overcomes the vanities of her social status, and she gave herself to me forever. But passion sometimes would prevail. Nor could tonight's gay feast restrain a sudden thought of one so pale for love of her, and all in vain. For passion sometimes would prevail. Passion overcoming reason. We have got reasoning for. But sometimes our reason gives way to passion. Porphyria was attending a party. Suddenly she remembered, she thought about her lover, pale lover, thought of one so pale, for love of her. Now the lover loved Porphyria so much that he has grown pale. And she came from the party. She left the party in the rain, in the raging wind. She came to my cottage. So she was come through wind and rain. Be sure she looked up at her eyes. Be sure I looked up at her eyes, happy and proud. At last I knew Porphyria worshipped me. So she gave herself to me. She gave herself to me forever. And I knew she worshipped me. Surprise made my heart swell. I was surprised. And this surprise, still it grew. While I debated what to do, the conflict was there in his mind, to be or not to be. Will she be mine forever? Or will she walk out of my life if she finds somebody better than me? I don't know. So the debate was going on in her mind. That moment she was mine. Mine fair. That moment. This reality. I do not know anything about the next moment. But now, at the present moment, she is mine. I am so very possessive about her. I want her to be mine forever. That moment she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and good. I found a thing to do. Now I had to do something. I had taken the decision. And all her hair, in one long yellow string, I wound 3 times her little throat around. Well, what's he up to? See, he says, all her hair, the long yellow hair. Now, in one long yellow string, that tress, the lock of hair, I wound 3 times her little throat round. Little throat. Glided in those words, her beauty, the white shoulders, and here the little throat. He wound her tress of hair 3 times around her beautiful neck, little throat, and strangled her. and strangled her. That comes as a shock to us. He strangled her to death. And now he says, no pain felt she. I am quite sure she felt no pain. Now he is justifying his action. She had a very peaceful death. She did not experience any pain. No pain felt she. I am quite sure she felt no pain. Porphyria's lover is justifying his action. He strangled her to death. And then he says, she did not experience any pain at the moment of death. She had a very peaceful death. That's what he says. I am quite sure he felt no pain. As a shut bud that holds a bee, I warily oped her lips. Now, he opened her eyelids. Here, Browning uses simile. It's a beautiful simile. He parted her eyelids cautiously, just as one would open a flower bud which holds a bee trapped in it. So look at that. I warily opened her eyelids. As a shut bud that holds a bee, I warily oped her eyelids. Again, laughed the blue eyes without a stain. He says, even after death, her eyes revealed her love for him. He did not. See, he killed her, but he says she did not experience any pain. There was a smile in her eyelids, not on her lips. She was happy that I killed her. Her cheek once more blushed beneath my burning kiss when and I untightened the next tress. Now, having made sure that she is dead, he untightened the lock of hair. And what happens? The cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. Then he kissed her. And he says, my kiss made her blush. Her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. I propped her head up as before. Only this time, my shoulder bore her head. Last time, she had placed his head on her shoulder. Now, the lover places the dead Porphyria's head on his shoulder. I propped her head up as before. Only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still. Her head is lying still. On my shoulders, the smiling rosy little head. Again, the beauty. She is beautiful even in death. The smiling rosy little head. So glad it has its utmost will. Now he says, she is glad that I killed her. Now she wanted to die. Her smiling face, because she's smiling because she loves him so much. So glad it has its utmost will. Her will was to be his only. Actually, he transfers his feelings to hers. Actually, it was he who was very possessive. And that's why he killed her. Now he says, well, she wanted to be mine forever. Therefore, my action is justified. So glad it has its utmost will, that all it scorned at once fled. The hatred is driven away, she is smiling, and I, its love, am gained instead. Well, the smiling face, because hatred has been driven away. She has gained her lover forever. She had gained her lover forever. That's what he says. A very strange explanation. And I am gained instead Porphyria's love. She guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard, and thus we sit together now. So her darling one wish, that is to be his forever, that was her wish. Now she is mine forever. She will not fall in love with anybody else. She will not walk out of my life. She is mine forever. So I fulfilled that wish for her. And thus we sit together now. And all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word. The poem ends abruptly. Now all night we have been sitting like this. So he started narrating this incident with the murdered or strangled Porphyria, see, with her head on his shoulders. And now he is justifying his action. I have been waiting for God's judgment. Till now God has not said anything about this. He has not scolded me, he has not rebuked me. So God has justified my action. The whole night I have been waiting for God's judgment, and God has not said anything. God's silence is approval of my action. Now here the poem ends. Porphyria's lover remains unnamed. The scene of action is his house. The time is just before sunrise. And when we analyze this poem, we find that Porphyria's lover has got some abnormality in him. And remember, Robert Browning was always interested in men who had failed in life. All his characters, Andrea del Sarto, the Duke of Ferrara, in My Last Duchess, all his characters have got some abnormality in their behavior. And here, this man is a psychic character. He is psychic. He has got some problem. That's why his possessive nature. He wants the Porphyrias to be his forever, and he strangles her to death. And he says, she wanted to be mine forever, and I fulfilled her wish by killing her. She will always be mine. I have not done anything wrong. I just fulfill her wish. And all night I have been waiting here. God has not said anything. So, he justifies action. God's silence is actually the approval of my action.